Now, I'm sure you're aware that just last week, an individual came here to the Capitol to describe his own particular victimization, and that there was a good deal of coverage about that pattern of activity by Mr. Foley. And so I raised this issue because in your opening statement you attempted to, well, you claimed that the people that you represent, both of you, had, I forget your exact words, but made, let's say, exemplary progress in protecting victims and responding to the concerns of victims.
Yes.
And apparently in that case, all the facts are contrary to that statement. It appears as though this particular person, Mr. Foley, for many, many, many years was well known as a child molester, but notwithstanding that fact, was permitted to live on property owned by the church and drive around in a car that was equipped with police lights, et cetera, apparently under the noses of everybody involved, and apparently was allowed to work as a chaplain for up until today. For all I know, today it's still on the website, the emeritus chaplain for a fire organization. So if in fact it's true that you've made all this progress and that times really have changed and this is no longer tolerated, how do you justify what's apparently come to light?
Well, first of all, we are down in Bridgeport are not we don't have the Hartford Current from where I think you're talking about. I have heard something about the Foley case. I can't comment on a specific of it because I really don't know the circumstances. My understanding was that his faculties were removed in the early 90s.
So just
as a priest. I mean, I understand that had been done, but other than that, I honestly do not know the specifics of that case.
No, I do not.
But how would that change the statute of limitations? I thought the victim had settled.
Well, part of your argument is that times have changed, and
they have changed.
Okay, and so I'm just probing that issue.
Okay. Well, all I can speak to is what the church has been doing since at least since the Charter and Norms, and even before that, when they had the sexual misconduct policies in place. I can speak to what the 3 bishops currently who are now in the state of Connecticut are doing, Representative Lawlor. I can tell you that they meet with victims. I can tell you that they work very hard. I can tell you that we have these victims assistance programs to have outreach for victims. That's what I can tell you. As to specifics about what happened years ago, I don't know those facts.
Okay. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful by the question I'm about to be asked, but since you mentioned something, I think it's important that I ask this question. You're the Chancellor of the Diocese of Bridgeport, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right. And could you describe what that position involves?
Yes, I am the Chief Administrative Officer for the diocese.
Okay. And I think you indicated that when you came here today, you were speaking on behalf of all 3 dioceses.
Yes.
Okay. And so is it your testimony today that in coming up here, you did not become familiar with the news reports regarding Father Foley from last week?
Yes, that is my testimony, because I came here to address the issue of the statute of limitations.
So in your role as Chancellor of an entire diocese,
yes,
you didn't feel it was important to become fully familiar with this situation so that you can ensure it doesn't happen in your diocese?
The only way to become fully familiar with the situation is to absolutely know the facts from all angles. And to be quite frank with you, I did not hear that we even were going to be coming up here until Monday. And I don't limit my facts to what can be gotten in the Hartford Current. And to be quite honest with you, I came here to speak about the statute of limitations. And I cannot speak to an individual facts. Pardon? Okay. Peter Kelly knows the facts. Would you like to speak to him?
Well, I just want to finish my question.
Okay.
And that was that in this particular case, it's raised a good deal of concern, all of which I think is warranted. And if, in fact, it is true that times have changed,
yes,
and certainly everyone hopes that's the case, if, in fact, that's true, it seems like a person in the position such as you have would make a special point to find out the whole story, and you have access to information which I assume the Hartford Current does not have access to find out the whole story. So it's surprising to me that you would not have went out of your way to find out the whole story, not just because you're coming here to testify, but just because of your own responsibilities as in the position in the Diocese of Bridgeport. That's all.
I came here to address the issue of the statute of limitations. I can tell you what happens now. A specific case and the representations you have made, no.